My story for you today is called Glitter Bridge. Once upon a time, there was a small old woman who carried the whole entire world on her small shoulders. She had been carrying it for many, many years. The world was really big and heavy, and her shoulders were bent because of it. She couldn't tell whether the world was getting heavier or she was getting older, and it was probably both, but whatever the reason, she didn't know how much longer she could carry it. She didn't want to ask anyone else to carry it, not even for one day, because knowing how heavy it was, she couldn't bear to put that weight on anyone else. So she moved through her days, slowing a little bit with each step. One hot and tiresome afternoon, she came across some children playing in the mud. They were moving some sticks around and they looked so joyful, and she couldn't understand why. It just looked like a muddy mess of a situation happening here. But the children were laughing and busy and didn't even seem to notice her at first, which was weird since she was carrying the whole world on her shoulders after all. The woman was so worn and tired that she couldn't even take one more step, and she just stood hunched over and tried to make sense of this spectacle of messy kids. Eventually, a child noticed her and ran over to the woman. "Why do you look so sad?" asked the child. "Well," said the woman, "I'm just so tired. This world is heavy and my shoulders are sore." The child kind of frowned and didn't really see what she was talking about, but went along with what the woman was saying. "Why don't you just put it down and play?" asked the child. "Well, if I put it down, it will all fall apart, and everyone is counting on me to keep this precious world together." The child thought for a minute. Hmm, that's a big problem. Yes, grown up people have grown up problems. "Thank you for keeping it safe," said the child. "You're welcome," said the woman. Then the child told the woman, "You should cross the glitter bridge. It goes to Flufferton where there's no gravity, only clouds. Everything there feels light and you can eat the clouds. They taste like marshmallow pies and they make you strong and happy, and there's music that makes you dance all the time." The woman smiled sadly at the child. "That sounds lovely. I wish I could go." "You can. The glitter bridge is right over there." And the child pointed to where the children had laid a bunch of sticks down in the mud. "You just cross Glitter Bridge and you'll see Flufferton right on the other side. Come on, I'll go with you." The woman was really too tired for pretend games, but the child looked at her with such a sweet and muddy face that she couldn't resist and decided she'd use her last little bit of energy to play along. So she followed the child slowly, one heavy footstep at a time, still balancing that great big world up there on her shoulders to where the sticks were laid out in the mud. The world shifted uncomfortably on her as the woman moved unsteadily. She really did not feel like playing, but the child was counting on her. "Okay, here we are. Now just walk across the glitter bridge and you'll be in Flufferton." The woman stepped onto the muddy sticks. She looked at the mud both under her and on the other side of the sticks, and she was thinking about how she'd have a big job getting cleaned up later. But she inched forward. Then, when she was about halfway across the sticks, or the so-called glitter bridge, her toe caught and she stumbled. It all kind of seemed to happen in slow motion. She reached her arms out in front of her as she felt herself falling forward, and the big, heavy world launched up off her shoulders. And as she went forward, the world went up and kept going up high into the sky. And she went sailing forward until she landed straight out in soft mush, face and all. Well, she wasn't hurt, and when she lifted her head, Her face was smeared with soft, goopy marshmallow. She looked around, and there were marshmallow clouds all around. She looked up in the sky, and she saw her world way up there, floating safely in orbit. And she started to laugh, and the sound of her laugh was familiar to her from a very long time ago. And she looked at the children floating around her, dancing and eating marshmallow clouds, and she was happy. She stayed for quite a while. When she went home, there was a world there waiting for her, but this one could fit in her pocket. And sometimes this world would start to feel bigger and heavier. But when this happened, she'd return to Glitter Bridge, where there were always some children who were eager to go with her to Flufferton, where there was no gravity. I love you, and I hope to see you at Glitter Bridge. I'll be there waiting for you.